Grab your popcorn and pour a stiff drink, because the alleged behind-the-scenes chaos of Meghan Markle's Harper's Bazaar interview makes a trashy reality TV reunion look like a silent meditation retreat at a monastery. Honestly, if you were expecting even a shred of subtlety from "announce me before I enter a room with two people, Markle," you are living in a fantasy world. That ship didn't just sail, it sank like a stone the moment she started believing The Crown was actually a fly-on-the-wall documentary about her own magnificence. According to Neil Sean, who actually has his ear to the ground, Harper's Bazaar wasn't just stirring the pot, they were actively spitting in the stew. And, naturally, the drama was absolutely inevitable the second St. Meghan of Montecito decided to grace the peasants with her presence. It allegedly kicked off with Meghan going volcanic-level furious. Why? Because the article had the audacity, the absolute nerve, to mention that she forced a staffer to introduce her as the Duchess of Sussex, while entering a room that contained exactly two people. Yes, you read that right. Two. As in, you have more fingers on one hand than there were people in that room. Yet, somehow, she still needed a herald like she's a walking Royal Alexa reminder. But what really fried her pink mist? The fact that the writer actually published it. The sheer horror. Someone documented something she actually did during an interview she orchestrated? Who could have possibly predicted this outcome besides literally every single person on Earth with a functioning brainstem? Apparently, Harper's Bazaar is crawling through the digital mud just trying to stay relevant, which is the same sad story for half the fashion mags since social media ate their lunch. So when Meghan approached them with what was basically a desperate Groupon deal for publicity, they said yes. Why? Because whether Meghan's press is good, bad, deranged, or totally delusional, it gets clicks. But here is where it gets absolutely delicious. As part of this deal with the devil, Meghan allegedly demanded that the interview drop at the exact precise moment Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was hosting her Christmas carol service. Because nothing says feminist empowerment quite like timing your big, desperate comeback to overshadow your sister-in-law doing actual, meaningful charity work. Originally, this fluff piece was supposed to land in December to hype up Meghan's Netflix Christmas special, which, big surprise, still hasn't materialized, just like the vast majority of her projects. But when Netflix shuffled its dates yet again, Meghan reportedly pressured Harper's to publish right when the Prince and Princess of Wales were attending the Royal Variety performance. And Harper's Bazaar, in a moment of, "Hey, what's the worst that could happen?" agreed to the chaos. Furthermore, the magazine agreed not to film inside Meghan's house, allegedly because that place is a labyrinth of forbidden zones. Former staff have described the Montecito mansion as a literal minefield, and honestly, that tracks perfectly. You know how normal human beings let visitors walk around their homes? Meghan apparently prefers a curated, sterile tour like she's running the VIP section at a North Korean museum. The only time she let a magazine inside was The Cut, and that turned into such a chaotic fever dream of word salad quotes, massive contradictions, and unhinged anecdotes that no publication has dared to try it again. So this time, Harper's didn't want to risk stepping on a symbolic landmine, and Meghan didn't want anyone seeing the unfiltered version of her life, which speaks volumes. Then we have the glam drama. Oh, the vanity. Meghan allegedly refused to let her longtime friend Daniel do her makeup because he dared to post a tutorial of her Paris look. You know the one, where she was giving Casper the Ghost Goes Shopping vibes. So Harper's hired a whole new squad. Diane Kendall on makeup, Ben Skirvin on hair, Dawn Sterling on nails. And apparently, Meghan hated the results. Not the photographers, not the lighting, not the styling. She hated everything. She even complained after the promotional clips dropped, which, let me remind you, she approved. At some point, the call is coming from inside the house, babe. People close to the situation claim that Meghan wasn't just angry, she was scorched earth furious. Over what, you ask? 1. Catherine looked absolutely stunning at the variety show. Radiant, effortlessly elegant, possessing that kind of ethereal glow that Meghan keeps trying to replicate with aggressive contouring. 2. Meghan's interview landed with the grace of a wet sock. The reception was brutal. Clown emoji brutal. 3. Harper's got a little revengey and highlighted Meghan's obsessive, clawing use of her title. The article painted her as someone clinging to her Duchess status, like it's her last lifeline on the Titanic. And honestly, it was funny. Harper's Bazaar played her like a fiddle, and she handed them the sheet music. The detail that sent the internet into absolute hysterics was the dumbest part of all this. Meghan allegedly had a staff member announce her arrival to a room of 2 people. Even Americans, who generally do not care about titles unless they're watching Real Housewives on Bravo, instantly knew this was ridiculous. The announcement is supposed to introduce a guest to royalty, not introduce royalty cosplay to a journalist. At this point, Meghan is trying to out-royal people who were literally born royal. Even Dwight Schrute announcing guests at a garden party had more self-awareness than this. And let's talk about those photos. Wow. Just wow. People online are convinced the Harper's team hated her because that cover shot was pure sabotage. The behind-the-scenes video basically confirmed that the vibe on set was, "I'm just here so I don't get fired." Rumours say she was a total nightmare, ignoring crew members, demanding constant correction, and treating everyone like extras in the Meghan show. Meanwhile, Catherine walks onto any set and the staff falls in love with her in 10 minutes. That's why her covers look like art. Meghan's look like Zoolander doing high-fashion cosplay. Some industry-savvy folks even pointed out that the article read like a paid placement, meaning Meghan or Netflix likely bought the editorial rather than earning it. Because let's be real, no major magazine wastes a prime cover slot on someone whose PR return on investment is consistently catastrophic. One insider even cattily noted she got the arts issue because Harper's didn't want to waste a real cover on her. Ouch. Netflix probably bankrolled the whole thing to hype her non-existent Christmas feature. Everything Meghan tries to use to overshadow Catherine ends up boomeranging straight back into her own forehead every single time. It's practically tradition at this point. She allegedly plotted this rollout to upstage Catherine, and instead, the internet roasted her so hard the flames are still visible from space. And the best part? She's not mad that people know she demands royal-style announcements. She's mad that people laughed at her. This interview accidentally exposed Meghan's biggest issue. She has absolutely no idea how to act like a normal human being. Announcing yourself as Duchess in a house that isn't yours, off-limits rooms, meltdowns over makeup, scheduling releases specifically to steal thunder from your sister-in-law. If you don't want a journalist to write about your bizarre behaviour, maybe don't behave bizarrely in front of them. In the end, Harper's Bazaar got exactly what they wanted: publicity, chaos, and SEO gold. Meghan got the opposite of what she wanted: mockery, memes, and a reputation meltdown that even her expensive PR team can't spin. And now, everyone involved is probably somewhere drinking heavily and pretending they had nothing to do with any of this. Honestly, same. This whole fiasco proves one thing: Meghan Markle is her own worst enemy. Not the press, not the palace, not the public, just Meghan. She keeps accidentally exposing herself through the very things she insists on controlling. And if this Harper's Bazaar drama is any indication, the future is going to be one long parade of self-inflicted PR disasters.